Welcome to Swain County Schools, The School Zone, the podcast that covers everything in and around Swain County Schools. This is episode 1.5, The Addams Family. It takes a great team to put on a great musical. Superintendent Mark Sale talks to Nicole Huett, the vocal and drama teacher at Swain County High School, along with 4 student cast and crew members from this year's musical, The Addams Family. And now, from our studio high atop 50 Main, we proudly present The School Zone.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our second episode of The School Zone. We are producing a weekly podcast. We're also videoing it right now so that we can get all of the different aspects out to the public. Today we have a group with us from the high school again, and all of these folks are involved in the production of our spring musical. Swain County High School has this amazing tradition that goes back decades of producing a full musical every spring, and in the past we've had the band involved, and I don't know what the level of involvement of all the other arts groups are in this year, because there's some transitions that we're making. Our folks are becoming so busy in so many different areas, it's hard to get everybody and everything. But I'm so thankful that all of you are here with me, and rather than me try to introduce you and explain who you are, where you're going, and all of that, I just want to do a round table real quickly, and you introduce yourself. We're going to start here to my right with Nicole Huett, who has been with us for a couple of years now as our drama and I guess our vocal teacher, excuse me, at the high school. So Nicole, give us a little bit of your background, just a little bit, and let's make sure we leave a lot of room for the students, because they're the best part of this.
Sure. Well, I've had the opportunity to work with students in the arts in the school systems since about 2004, and I love it with my whole heart. It's like so exciting. I do not take it lightly that I get to spend my time doing the thing I'm the most passionate about with students, and so the musical is my favorite thing. And these are 4 of the students involved in this show, and I was trying to figure out, we have 15 in our theater design class, and we have about 37 on stage this year. So it's and then we have, you had mentioned other departments. Yes. And that is the art department's going crazy with this, and Mr. Edding and his construction crew are going to blow everybody away this year. And so I get to be the leader of this parade. Yay, it's exciting.
Very good. To your right, to Miss Hewitt's right, is Tia. Tia, tell us about yourself.
I'm Tia Panther. I'm from the Cherokee Reservation. I'm the costume designer, and I'm also on stage. But I'm also in charge of making sure that certain set pieces are painted, because I'm also involved in the art classes. Mm-hmm. I'm in charge of a whole group, so I had to leave them today to be here.
Do you trust them?
Yeah, I told them exactly what to do.
When she accepted this, she said, I have to stop by there and give them instruction. It was really cool.
And that's one of the beautiful things about what you all are involved in right now. Not only does it teach you how to have personal accountability, but it's also putting you into more traditional leadership roles, which is so important for what you're going to be doing later in life. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Tia, you said you live on the boundary. Which community?
Birdtown.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we do a shout out to anyone who's from Birdtown, because they want to know that Tia Panther is doing something great, and it makes everybody feel good. Mm-hmm. To my left, I have a young man. His name is Elilijah. Elilijah, tell us about yourself.
I'm Elilijah Bryant. I also live on the reservation. I live in Big Cove right now, but the plan is to move over to Paytown.
Okay.
I'm Gomez, so I'm the leading man. I basically learned a bunch of lines and learned how to dance. Sing a little bit too.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you're learning how to dance. That's kind of breaking a little bit of tradition in the mountains. Guys don't dance on stage.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you for being willing to go there. Now, you said you're Gomez.
Yeah.
Did you mention Miss Hewitt, did you mention what the name of the musical is?
The name of the musical is The Addams Family.
The Addams Family. So you're Gomez in the Addams Family.
Yes, sir.
And most people who are listening to this, I would think, maybe I'm showing my age here, but most people who are listening to this may already have an idea of what the Addams Family is. Yeah, one of our characters here at the table did the double snap because that's part of the song. So Gomez, No, Elilijah, tell us just a little bit about the Addams family story, but don't give away anything.
It's kind of like, unlike most plays, it's more of a domestic drama. There's kind of an outside force, but it's mainly the family kind of tearing itself apart and stitching it back together.
Very good. So there's a level of drama in there that everyone can relate to.
Everyone can relate to, yeah.
Because I'm sure that none of our families are perfect and never get along every minute.
Yeah. So this will be good to connect with people.
Very good. By the way, Elilijah, you've got the golden voice. Just want you to know.
Oh, thank you.
So when all of this is over, if you want to get into broadcasting.
Oh yeah, totally.
You're the guy. Directly to Elijah's left is someone whose voice you'll recognize and face if you're seeing this by video, and that's Tayla. Tayla, give us just a little bit about yourself, although I think the whole world probably knows who you are by now.
Well, I'm Tayla Holt, and I am on stage, and I'm also the student choreographer for this play and for plays in past years. So I choreograph and come up with all the dances with Miss Sutton at the high school and Miss Huett. So it's a big collaboration, and then we get to teach it to the kids, and every day there's something new. It seems like we're doing a new dance every day, and so it's really fun.
We have another one today even.
So there's another dance that's going to be taught today,
the
right?
Tango. We've got it. We can't do the Addams Family without the tango.
Okay.
One of the things, Tayla, I would love for you to, she's doing harder dances than, you mentioned the boys in dancing. We're breaking that stigma, but you want to talk a little bit about how you're kind of every year.
Yeah, so I came into ensemble when I was a freshman to be the choreographer, but basically that first year, the hardest moves we did was like a little Charleston step, and we just like moved our hips and whatnot. But now this year I've decided to like take it to a whole new level, and like we're doing like more intense dancing, and they're doing really great with it. And yeah.
And one of the things about doing a podcast, I know that we're videoing this as well, so if somebody is watching this by YouTube or something, they see Elilijah over here bobbing his head up and down while Tayla's talking about taking it to a new level. But if you're hearing just the audio of this, I want you to imagine Elilijah bouncing his head up and down, agreeing with the fact that this is a little different than it's been before. And I'm thankful for that. How many years have you been involved? You may have already said this. How many years have you been involved in dance and the musical here? Because I remember seeing you on stage when you were like 4 or something.
I don't think I was on stage here when I was 4, but I have been involved with the musical myself since I was a freshman. So this is my 4th year that I've been involved with it on stage. But I've always been like helping my mom, Miss Holt, backstage in previous years when I was like 10. So
See, there are other people, as I've come through the system, I've been in the system for over 30 years now, and I've watched some students who have been involved in the musical when they literally were in elementary school. And that kind of fits you as well. Maybe not on stage, but you have always been involved. And that's one of the beautiful things, Nicole, about this musical, about our county, is that people get involved when they're very young and then they stick with it. So you've been involved for a long time. Tia, let's go back to you. Is this your first experience in the musical, or have you done this before?
Last year I did the costumes for Freaky Friday, but yes, this is my first year in the musical, but I've also been in Drama for Fun classes my entire high school career.
Okay, so drama has been part of your life the entire time. What year in school are you right now?
I'm a senior.
Okay. Tayla, you're a senior. Elilijah, what year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore. So is this your first experience in drama or musical at the high school?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're a sophomore, though, because they're going to be able to build on what you're doing this year.
You should tell them I'm going like this.
Yeah, I pretty much ignore Miss Huett because she's pretty extemporaneous and extroverted, and and she's over here pumping her hands up and down because she's thrilled to have Elilijah as part of this. Now there's one more person at the table, and she's a pretty sweet girl.
I try.
when she's asleep.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just playing. Emily, give us a little bit of background.
All right.
Hi, I'm Emily Franklin. I'm a junior at the high school, and I play Miss Morticia Addams. I've been in ensemble since I was a freshman. So, yeah.
I was at a basketball game. I think I heard you sing the banner.
Yes.
And I think I remember the crowd giving some significant oohs and ahs when they heard you sing. And I've noted that in the past as well. You have the voice of an angel.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
And I love to hear what you're doing. So there are a lot of pieces that we're going to see on stage, but that is really only the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of things that are happening backstage or in other places. So some of y'all jump in and describe some of the activities that you've been involved beginning to put this musical into place. Who wants to go? Elilijah?
Yeah, I guess. I guess one of the things is like Tayla will be working with the rest of the ensemble, and they'll be like dancing and stuff. And some of us, like the main characters, will get together and we'll run lines together. Even when Miss Huett isn't really focusing on us, we kind of have to get together and run lines, practice scenes, and it's a lot of work. I usually sleep in the dressing room.
Now, in his defense, he's in 90% of the show. I have sent him away before going, this is about 30 minutes that you should probably rest because he's on. You guys are going to be blown away, but like he really doesn't get a break during the show very much. And so he's got to, one of the things I teach him is how to manage your time because they're about to go in these next couple of weeks. I mean, we're literally together when we're not in class. And so they've got to figure out that ebb and flow of like how to expand and use their energy. And he mentioned when I'm not there, I'm split into like 1,000 different places. So I love teaching leadership and that, hey, I need you to go run these 2 scenes and be able to walk away and know that those 2 scenes are happening because we've already done the prep work. So the process is a word we use a lot. The beginning process, I am fully in. I give them their blocking. I give them like, this is my expectation in the scene. And once they have that, they're able to kind of get that repetition, even if I'm not staring there with them. But it is interesting how they kind of have to balance when they're doing where they are in different places of the process.
And again, that goes back to the thought that I had, and we're going to bring you into in just a little while, about how this is going to apply to afterlife, because all of life is about balance and about planning and about measuring how much energy you can put into what. You mentioned just a minute ago, Nicole, that in the next couple of weeks are going to be really busy. Describe, and we'll get back to the other question in just a second, describe the amount of time that these folks are going to be putting into the production, through the month of March.
Basically the month of March. It is, especially because February was snow apocalypse to 2020. I mean, we literally lost probably 10 rehearsals. And the thing that's hard about this is that repetition and that energy and that stuff, it stifles it. We can't get that back. We can't get those runs back. But what we do have, and I can't say this stronger about this group of kids, the passion, the drive, and the care that they have, what we will have is it'll be there. It's just we have to work harder to get to that finish line because we just had a lot of obstacles this time. And so I just presented them with the calendar for March, and my favorite thing is everyone understood it. If that makes, I mean, it seems like a lot, but they were like, yeah, we want to have an excellent show. So it's pretty much every day, Saturdays for very long days. We need people to feed us. They'll be, we'll rehearse like Act 1, like the week leading up to the show. We'll do Act 1, eat dinner, then do Act 2. So it is just all encompassing. And then the payoff though, when you have all of these kids that want excellence and we all get there together, that feeling, there's not much like what that's going to be. And it's fun because Elilijah hasn't felt that part yet, so he's just trusting us, and the 3 of them are hooked, like we all know. But I have about 15 to maybe 20 with maybe even more. We have about half the people that are just trusting the process, that we understand that this is where we're headed to, and then when we get to the top of that mountain, they're gonna hopefully be like, this was worth it. But it's it's a climb. And it involves, like yesterday we had a rehearsal, and Mr. Holt is not on microphone, but he's here. He is doing lighting, and he was doing some rigging for us yesterday. And so we have to be very flexible. So one of the rehearsals he was talking about, it was one of the open windows Mr. Holt had, so he had time. I don't want to tell you what it is, it's a secret, but we have some amazing special effects stuff going in. And so he had a minute to put something on stage, but it took the whole stage to do it. So we had actors, all of a sudden they're not rehearsing, they're dancing anymore. They're helping him with a huge project. And that was one of the times where the other kids, we were spread out. Tayla was doing choreography in the lobby. These guys were in another room working on a scene, and it all shifted because the community that comes around and helps us is just unbelievable.
So describe that. Describe community.
Yay.
Behind the scenes, okay?
Behind the scenes, and y'all can help make sure I remember things. We have a drama mama, Miss Melissa Green, doesn't even have a kid in our program anymore, and she comes and she feeds us, and she helps be the liaison between me and parents and getting more volunteers in. I have a friend named Maggie who's helping my theater design class design Morticia and Gomez's spaces in the room. We have, Miss Holt is helping with costumes with Tia, they're partners. Miss Sutton is doing dance. You got Mr. Edding and all of his kids. You got Miss May and all of her kids. Mr. Thomas was helping yesterday. Tia designed the t-shirt yesterday. And then we get, like, you invited us to come do a special event next week, so
That's
we
right.
wanted to get our t-shirts quickly, so that threw that to the forefront. And so we had to get that in. So all of a sudden I'm like, Tia, let's do it now. So we went to Mr. Thomas, and then just anybody in the community. I love, like, if you're listening to this or you're not a part of this and it sounds fun, like, I'm all about the community piece. To me, the spring musical should be about Swain County. Like, come be with us. And if there's something you love, if there's a piece that you like, I love for it to be alumni, anybody that is just like, let me come help you tell the story. Because it's better if it just comes from one person, that's too much. But like Mr. Holt is the lighting designer. That means my brain doesn't have to do that. Miss Lackey took musical directing on this year, so she's the musical director.
That's Rachel Lackey.
Yes, Rachel Lackey.
She's the director for the Swain Center for the Arts.
And she is, she is such an amazing human to us. She comes alongside of us, and we could not be more grateful for her. And our administration, they are just like super cheerleaders for us, so supportive. And like, you're an arts person, and so and you feel that. Mr. Gilbert, when he came 31 years ago, built this beautiful event, and I want y'all to get to talk about this too. Sorry, but you can feel that in this town, and it's just such an honor to get to jump in. But that's what it feels like, is we're kind of on a train that's just been traveling, and so it's so much fun to say, come on guys, come play on the train. Like, let's do it. Let's tell the story all together.
We talk about the athletic tradition in Swain County, which is very real and is known across the state. And a lot of the success that we've had in the past helps build into success now. But that's also true of this program. Mr. Gilbert, Jay Gilbert, who started this 30 years ago, started something that was exceptional, and it has continued since then. And so, a shout out to him and everyone that's being a part of that. Now, we've had a couple of people talk about the things that are going on backstage that we don't know about. And Tayla, you've alluded to that some too. Does anybody else want to add, Tia or Emily, things that are going on that the audience is just not going to know about if you don't tell them, either of you?
As like backstage and what goes on before we perform to the public and in practices, really getting in the headspace of your character, whether it's in practices or when you're at home running lines, or I've had several phone calls with Elilijah or other cast members like, hey, let's run lines. When you're in a scene and you're like, how is Morticia feeling right now? Like, what would her stance be? How would she react? And building your character really from the ground up, even classic characters like Morticia or Gomez, there's a super awesome piece of getting to build that. And the audience doesn't get to see the build-up of that. I think it's a really cool process.
And Emily, that is apparently, from the way that you're describing it and the look that's in your eyes when you're talking about that is an element of this that you really, really you like.
Oh, I love it. Okay. I absolutely love it. I think the psychology of characters is super cool. and getting to build that and see how Morticia connects with Pugsley and Wednesday, or the Beinecke's, which is characters you will soon meet. It's awesome.
Tia might be a fun person to talk to. One of the things, this is kind of fun that you brought this up, all of the ensemble members all have a name. So the ensemble in this show are the Addams Family ancestors. They have come back to Earth for one evening, and there's something happens and they get stuck here, right? So I'm a big fan. I love the ensemble, and I love that everybody needs a name, a backstory, and then this one, they get to tell us how they passed away. But Tia, this is really cool, like who her ancestor is. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all a little bit.
Yeah. So I am the Native American ancestor.
Okay.
And we were like struggling with who was going to be this character, because we weren't going to cut her out of the show, and we weren't going to have someone who wasn't of Native American heritage portray this character.
It came with the show. So there's about 10 ancestors that the show says there's like a cowboy, there's a different one. And so when we saw there was a Native American, we started processing, let's do it correctly. So.
And so like we had a big discussion about what the costume should be like, and that it should be historically accurate and like not offensive at all. That's like the first thing we discussed.
You can see some productions that people have done, and they do it more of a caricature, and it doesn't seem like an authentic at all representation of what a true ancestor would be like. So.
Yeah, and then we were we saw that there was a problem because we weren't sure who would portray this character. And so I thought about it, and the next day I went to Miss Huett and I said, I want to be her. And here I am.
And that is unusual to me, because it's not part of what I know of the Addams Family. I mean, I know the television and the movie and all that stuff, but now that makes me want to come and to see exactly how you've done that, because that's pretty exciting.
And there's more. Tell her name and like her costume.
Her costume is 18th century, like traditional Cherokee dress.
She designed it.
Yeah.
And it's being built just for her, so that's pretty cool.
So who's building this? Are you doing that, or?
No. Elijah's grandma
Really?
is doing it, yeah.
9 times out of 10, when you see like the pageants, the Cherokee Princess pageants, and during the fair,
yes,
it's usually my grandma and a couple family friends who will make a majority of those dresses.
So tell me some names.
Nancy Maney.
Okay.
Johnny Ruth, who passed away a little bit ago.
Okay.
I'm not sure if her name is Charlie Brown, but that's just what we always call her.
Okay, that's all right.
And then I don't really know the other one.
Well, that's okay. Whenever we're doing this, I just like for us to make sure we put names with things so that people can recognize, because you talk about, Nicole, you talk about the community piece of it. If we say community, that can mean anybody. A few minutes ago, you used, Tayla used the name Miss Sutton. Now, my mind went to Laurie Sutton.
Yeah.
Okay, but Laurie Sutton is not really Laurie Sutton. She's Laurie Sutton Bailey. And Laurie Sutton Bailey is involved in the dance program in Swain County and has been for quite a while. So this production, all of this, has to have life-changing opportunity in each of you. And I can say that with authority, being an old arts guy and knowing exactly what you were talking about, the climb, the feeling. And it's more than just a feeling, it's an experience that you carry with you for the rest of your life, and it influences every single thing that you do because it helps build who you are. So I want you to take just a second, and I want these young ladies and gentlemen to ponder just where you're sitting today. What has this done for you as an individual, being involved in the arts? And Kayla, that includes for you, the dance aspect, and Emily, that includes for you the fact that I know that you're involved in vocal ensemble, and singing is I don't know if it's a passion of yours. Hearing you sing is a passion of mine. How has this affected you, and how do you see it affecting you in the future, even though it's tough to predict the future? I know that. Think about that for a second. Now somebody jump in and tell me, how has this affected you, and where's it going to take you think?
Well, I know that I never saw myself as a choreographer before I started before I joined ensemble, and that's actually how I got hooked in. Is the first teacher of ensemble a couple years ago, Rachel Yates, came in and she was like, "Tayla, you dance, you can be the choreographer." So then I got roped in, and now I'm the choreographer. But it's really taught me like to have confidence in myself, because those first 2 years, I can definitely see it now as I look back at the dances. I'm like, I probably could have been more out. Like, I could have tried more things with the dancers, you know. I could have just used more moves and whatnot.
But that's a learning process, Tayla.
Yeah, so it's really taught me to use the process and not just like try and get to the end product right away. So it's helped me a lot.
And that's taught you the confidence of going ahead and taking a chance.
Yes.
You know, not really always knowing what the outcome will be, which is going to be life altering. Because if you want to live your life in comfort and security, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're going to miss a whole lot of opportunity and blessing if you'll go ahead and open the doors and step through. You might be successful, you might not, but even if you're not successful in the world's eyes, what are you going to gain from it? That's, it's a beautiful thought to me. Somebody else, how has this affected you? What are you going to do with it?
This is, well, I've always kind of liked to act ever since I was little, because back in Kansas, when my mom needed to go do something, she'd drop me off at this little drama camp. And so I'd pretty much act out and just do stuff like that. And I've never really gotten a chance to before. And this has given me a chance to explore something I've always liked and given me just, that confidence boost.
I can't see that Elilijah would need much of a confidence boost, but now I know maybe where it came from, and that's exciting for me. Elilijah, I know you're a sophomore.
Yeah.
I want you to project yourself in the future 3 or 4 years. What do you think you're going to be doing?
Probably going to in college, trying to get my major in history, and probably minor in theater or something.
Okay, very good, very good. And Tayla, you're going to be a choreographer, maybe something along those lines. No, you're not either. You told me once. That's going to be a sideline for you, like music is for me now, right? So you have a different plan. Do you want to put that plan out there, or you just want to keep it to yourself? You can if you want.
I can put it out there, I guess. Well, I'm going to UNCG and for communications and broadcasting, and we'll hopefully be able to pursue that as a career.
So, someday we're going to know Tayla Holt, and we're going to know that she started in Swain County, and we're going to be able to put our ties to someone who is incredibly famous so that we can come to her and say, and by the way, we've got a musical and we need $10,000, so help us out. Right.
We got 2 more.
Come on, Tia. Somebody?
So the arts have really helped me because my freshman year I was so shy. I would not talk to anyone unless I had to, or unless they talked to me because I'm polite. But as I've grown and matured, I've realized that I was just worried about pretty much nothing. I was just scared of, I guess, being judged. And it is a scary thing, especially in high school, because it's a big thing. Self-esteem issues.
Yes.
And I know a lot of young people face those things today, but if you put yourself out there, you can overcome it. It's all you have to do is just talk to someone, make friends, join theater or art or something. There are so many things you can do. And I have recently been accepted to the Savannah College of Art and Design.
That's significant.
Yeah. And I would like to pursue a career in filmmaking. I want to become a director.
Hey.
And we've got Joe Holt sitting here, who is, that's right up his alley, Tia. So I know that makes his heart feel good, and that makes all of us feel good for you. And that's exciting. I look forward to seeing your name as the director, at the Academy Awards. That'd be great. And even if it's not, it'll be a passion. You'll enjoy it. That's exciting.
Oh, we're going. I get to go. We already put on our dresses and everything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's my +1 for the Oscars.
That's great. All right, Emily, what's it doing for you?
Ensemble is, I mean, it's such an amazing program, and for me, it's definitely also helped build my confidence. And I've always sang. I mean, I've been singing before I knew what singing was. I remember my small little self having concerts in my room, jamming out Hannah Montana. Is great. But I always thought acting was so cool, and how people could become characters and make these stories, but I never really knew what I was doing until Miss Huett came to the high school, and I'm like, I really want to do this. And she saw the potential in me and really, really worked with me and helped me build that skill. And I think it's helped me have like a lot of confidence in if we're just like doing a warm-up game where we improv a scene and I can try something crazy, and I'm like, you know what? I may look absolutely insane, but it's awesome. It's awesome and it's funny. And having that confidence to create characters and working with others, it's just really awesome.
We're a little family.
Yes.
It's really, that's probably my favorite thing, is try to help the kids feel safe and that we are there for each other. We're about to go into two of the most stressful weeks they will probably have ever had, but learn how to go into it with grace and love and kindness towards each other, which, I mean, that is a takeaway for your jobs, for your life.
That's right.
And it's work, and we're not perfect at it, but we all continue to try to just be there for each other, and I couldn't be more proud of these kids. They're amazing.
And you should be, and our entire community should be, and I know that we are. One of the reasons that we're doing these podcasts is because I want Swain County and whoever sees these to understand that there are great things that are happening in Swain County schools, and they're all across the board, and it does create family. That's why we have #SwainFamily. We belong to each other, and that's really important. So from us in administration, who don't get an opportunity to look you in the eye very often and say thank you, let me speak for all of us and thank you. Thank you for being our best and then some. That means a lot, and we are so excited to see the Addams Family. What are the production dates?
Yay, we open March 20th, and we have 2 weekends, so the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and then the 27th, 28th, and 29th. Please come watch these wonderful, amazing students and their peers. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you. We're so excited. And I was thinking we need to say family first and family last and
family by and by.
That is the motto, so it's really fun.
And with that, we're going to close out because we can't close any better way than that. So thank you to everyone who has participated in this and who is watching. God bless you, and thanks for being part of our Swain family.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
The executive producer of The School Zone is Toby Burrell. Joe Holt is our video editor and audio engineer. Aiden Pond is our intern. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and to our YouTube channel to receive notifications of future content. And as always, please feel free to share. Now see you next time on The School Zone.